Yeah. What are the function? Let's see. Actually, imagine you have a magic box or a small machine. Okay, and you put something in what into it. What you put something that one any something that objects can give. You put in that box, right? That is called as magic box. That called as what input from your user. Okay, and the machine perform what specific action. That is called as what process. Okay, and it gives something to your back. That is what output. Okay, let me take an example. It's called as what your ATM machine. In ATM machine, you give your what outside the box. You input what your put your card into a ATM machine and enter your password. That card as what input. Afterwards, you enter the money. Then it takes the process and it verifies this, the code as what process and gives output. What you are getting the output, you get the cash, right? That is called as what function. Okay. Okay. In practically in Python programming, let's see the what is function. Function is exactly like that, and it's named the block of code that you can set up a problem for a specific task whenever you need it. Okay, that function is no only perform that perform specific task only. For use for repetition purpose, use what function. Okay, for example, you can take the function to say take two numbers as an input and adds together. It gives what sum of the output. In this what it takes what only the two numbers. It will do to perform one action only. That action called as what addition. Okay, it gives the output as what sum of the two numbers. Okay, and let's see. And why should you have to use the functions? And function makes what you for smarter, more efficient programmer. Okay, that we particularly in Python programming we call as what that one drop. Okay, drop is what do not repeat yourself. If you find yourself writing the same lines of code again and again, and you can put that code into the function and reuse it easily. When you want to the repetition, but like you are looping. Okay, for looping for printing for same logic plus at a time. But function, you can when you call that function, it will do the task. Okay, like your addition, subtraction, like a process that one. And second is what readability. Readability means well-named function. Make your user code like your plain English can be a calculate taxes. It's much easier to a block of complex cells. Okay, given one name. When you know the topic when we give the I am calculate taxes, I'm calling that function. It will what do the calculate? It calculate the taxes and gives back to what tax amount. It will give it back to you. Inside what we already defined that specific task. Okay. And next to the what organization. Organize means the function is a break a big complex big program to a smaller manageable pieces and it's like what organizing or a messy room into the label boxes. Okay, and come to the problem solving, can do the problem solving also. That is what when your something gets wrong and it's a much easier to do for find and fix the error. But the process is called as what debugging. Okay, in smart function then you can gain the problem. But you think if you are a big problem and you say you have a set of like a 10,000 codes of lines, so you say debugging is difficult, right? When we build on function to for debugging only, and when we call that function, it will easily debug that one and easily we get the bug-free code. Okay, let's see how to build your first function. Okay, let's learn the syntax. Okay, how will be the function? Okay, you can see right. Def should be what first we if you know the computer should know right. This is what function. So I have to what first you have to what define. In define in Python we have the keyword called as what def. Okay, in def you can the computer understand we are using what function. Okay, first should be what def. Okay, then should be what function name. That is your wish. Like your when you give the variable name, right? Like that you can give the function name. Okay. Afterward, you have to open the parenthesis. Okay. After that, you have to give the parameter. Okay. You just see understand the syntax. Let's always see afterwards what is the parameters. Okay. And here what is the parameter? In parameter you give what input and optional also. And the function name is what the name you given to your function and def is what is what defined keyword. That is Python you are making what function. Okay, this is what your basic syntax of your what function. Okay, in that in this what it should be what like that this function name a parameter and parameter 2. Okay, after that this is for first line. Okay, after that inside this is called as what starting one. Okay, after that you have what body of the index of the function, right? So inside that you have to write body of the function, nothing but your logic. Okay, and your code goes here, and this is part of must be indented. Indentation should be must be followed. You can here also what after the colon, right? End with what colon. So after when we enter from here, we'll get the what spaces, that is called as what four spaces or one tab space. That is what you have to maintain what indentation. Okay, if you're using Visual Studio and after the colon when you enter, it takes the automatic indentation. Okay, you want you have to know that one. Okay, and after that last what you have to mention what return. It's an optional you can pass. Okay, return some value. That is what send the value back. Because return is nothing but we are calling that value to the same word to the function. Okay, it makes what return makes marks what like nothing but your print statement. Let's see the difference what a return and the Python in the next concepts. Okay, let's see the defining versus calling a function. Let's see what difference from that in defining and the calling function. Okay, clear with the this syntax. Okay, this is simple syntax. Go to the defining and functioning and your password parameters. Okay, then end with what colon. Okay, inside that you have to the write the your code logic. Okay, and must be it should be what indented and finally you have to what return some values. Okay, let's see defining and versus calling a function, and this is very important concept. And first one what defining. Okay, defining a function is what it's like a what writing down a recipe or a for a cake. Okay, you are creating some set of instruction but what the code does not run yet. Okay, like what when you're doing a recipe of a cake, you return some of instruction, right? First should be this one, so second should be this task, third should be this task. Like that only we are defining that one, defining the task. That is what set of instruction called as in Python programming. Okay, that can be what defining a function. Okay, after that calling a function is like actually a baking the cake using a recipe. Okay, this is when the code inside the function executes. When we call the function is already declared and already defined with the set of instruction with the set of logics with the specific task with the specific requirements like addition. Okay, if we give the numbers means like when you do two numbers, okay, we'll do what addition when I am calling this function name. So like that when you are having the recipe of for a cake in define you what you in the defining function you write the recipe for your cake. Okay, in calling function you actually what baking the cake using what your recipe. This is what you are defining or calling a function. Okay, clear with this? This is what defining. Okay, after the returning inside the defining afterwards we call that one. Okay, see in the next one. Okay, can see that. Okay, I'll take one example. What is the step one? You have to define the function. Okay, first one, define the function. What is what? Writing a recipe. Okay, and this function what takes the no inputs and it gives the no output. It just for only the action. Only what you are defining that one. Or you are structuring that one. Okay, okay. What is the syntax? First one, you have to what define. That is what DEF. Okay, so you see, there is nothing but define keyword in a Python to know what this is a function. Okay, I'm calling one function name that is called what say allow. Okay, and with a parenthesis and not given any parameters, so I'm giving only the parenthesis that is optional. Okay, and in with what colon. Okay, then I am what taking what indentation. So I'm what printing what hello, welcome to your first function. Okay, let's run this. Okay, you can see right, no anything will be printed, only the function declared. Okay, let's take step 2. That is what call the function for your baking the cake. Notice all the message above it did not print until we call the function here. Okay, let's merge this, then you can easily understand. You can see here, right? Okay, after that I'm running this one. It's printing what I am about to the call the function. Okay, it is called that is say allow, and so I'm calling this function. But you can see here, right? The def should and see calling the function should be what in a same line. Okay, and I'm calling this one what is say hello. When I calling the say hello, it will printing what hello, welcome to the first function like that. You mentioned here, right? Like that. Then I've just called the function. Okay, you can call n times. That is your wish. Okay, that's the beauty of your what your Python functions. Okay, and what here say hello. I'm calling this function, and this I'm calling function. If you're printing hello, welcome to your first function. This is the beauty job of our functions. Okay, this is for what when you're using the function, you can maintain what specific task. Okay. Let's see the giving the functions instruction. I seen right. When we pass here, right, we pass in the parentheses, but here it didn't pass anything. That is called as what parameters. Let's see what are the parameters and arguments. Okay. And what if you want to the function be more flexible. And for example, you are greeting what specific person by name. So we can give our function inputs also. That is called as what we can give the what parameter. Okay, what is what parameter? Parameter is nothing but placeholder or a variable name. You're using what one variable name to store what some values inside that one, right? So in function, we pass some parameter to store what as it act as what placeholder that holds what values. That is also called as what variable name. Okay, for input side inside the function, the definition. Okay, when we use the parameter in the definition, that is nothing but def or define. Okay, after the define, after the function name, we pass some parameters. Okay, remember that one parameter is nothing but placeholders. Okay, next one is argument. Argument is nothing but the actual value or data you send to the function when you call it. Okay, it's nothing but you can see right. Okay, I'm here functioning define. Okay, say hello. Okay, inside the parenthesis, I will pass some like a comma b. These are what variable names. It's nothing but parameters I am passing here. Okay. After that, when I am calling the function, right? When I am calling a function, you have to give the values here, like that 1, comma 2. Like that, I will pass some values to act some task. When I am doing the addition, right? So I will pass a definition, add sum of two numbers. I'm passing here a comma b. Okay, here I'm giving 1, comma 2. That is that value. That when you're calling this function, it passes the value to this function. This function what defines that is go to the logic and gives the values and define the task, then print your values like that. Like that, it will be work. Okay, let's do one example, then you can easily understand. Okay, this function what takes two numbers and returns some their sum. Okay, let me do what defining here. That is what nothing but I'm defining one function. So I want to do add numbers. Okay, I'm taking on two variable name that is called as what parameters. Remember that one when you use in the inside the parenthesis some values, right? That is called as what parameters. Okay, the first one is what variable number parameter number one and number two. Okay, to specify to maintain that placeholder. Okay, and after that colon. So I'm print what I am inside that add numbers function now. Okay, and after that you have to mention what your logic, nothing but your code part. Okay, I have to do it add numbers, right? For add numbers, I have to do what I'm taking one variable called as what total num1 plus num2. Okay, after that I'm writing what return. Return is nothing but your print statement. Okay, so I'm return. What is I want to return what total. Okay, when I return when I keyword using the return and total, it gives what it will print what total. Okay, and here, okay, let me merge this, then you can easily understand. Okay, you can see right and call the functions to further return the variable. Again, what is here I'm doing here? Some result. Okay, I am taking one variable called as what? Some result. And it is equal to what? Add numbers of 5, comma 10. So I have to what? 5 and 10 should be what? Add. Okay, when we doing the 5 plus 10, that is what we'll get 15, right? Let's run this. Hence, right, I am inside the function add number function now. Okay, and we will be not printing anything. Why? We define the task, but we are not printing anything. It will like that. I am back to the outside the function. Should be what results. I want some result because here I'm taking what some result. This add number store in some result. Okay, let me do here. I'm not taking any variable to place to store that value and directly calling that calling the function that is what add numbers. I'm taking what values that is arguments Okay, this is called as what? Parameter. This is called as what? Arguments. I'm passing what? 5, 10. So you can see, right? The it will returning. What is that one? 50. Okay. Let me do it what? I'm storing this add numbers, this value. That is what? 15. That 15 is storing what? In some results. Okay. So I'm running this one. I'm here what? Printing. I am outside the function. That is what? I'm already finished. I'm outside the function. That is I'm printing. So finally, what I'm using here, what f string. Okay, f string is nothing but I will discuss in our next concepts. Then you can easily understand. In function, we usually mentally what usually f strings only. Okay, that is what can use anything, but usually a good programmer use what f string. Okay, print. I'm using what f. F is nothing but you have to know, right? That is what f string. So after that you have to print something statement, right? Inside the that statement. So I'm using what I'm taking on some string statement. So that inside a sentence I want to put some value. Okay, that sentence that in that we can use what f string. Okay, for defining that f string you should what use what one flower two flower brackets. Okay, inside the flower bracket you have to mention that variable name. Okay, that variable that store the value, right? Okay, I'm mentioning what some result and end with what flower bracket and with what and what ending with what double quotes and close the parenthesis. So I'm running this. So you can see, right, with this sentence that value is added. So this is the beauty of what f string. Okay, remember this method. Okay. So the result is given back to you. The function was what? 15. Okay. Can call directly also. Okay. I'm taking this what? Already defined, right? This one. You can call n number of times. Okay. I'm taking here 4. Okay. I'm taking here what? Add numbers. Okay. I will pass different numbers. That is called as what? 15 and 10. Okay. 15 plus 10 is what? 25. Can see, right? I'm inside the function. Okay, and what is that one? Answer is what? 25. Okay, you can give minus 10 also. What is the sum? 15 minus 10. 5, right? You can see, right? 5. Like that, it will be work beautifully for the specific task, what you define. Okay, clear with this? Yeah, good. See, when we can you can do the multiplication also within the f string. Okay, and if you want to multiply the result by 2, and we get some result. A store already got some result, right? So what is the sum result now? Here some result I store that one. That is what 5 plus 10 is what 15. Okay, and multiplying it what 15 into 2 inside the f string. You can do multiplication also. That is for some. That is for some result. That is value is what 15. 15 to 2 was 30. Let's print this one. Consider it. We can multiply the result by 2. We get what 30. This is the beauty of your f string. Okay. And let's do the types of function in the Python. Okay, Python offers what different kinds of function to help you what write a efficient and organized code. We can broadly the categorize into the two main types. Okay, there are two main types. And first one is what built-in function. You already hear the word, right? That is built-in function. We discussed when we doing the complete data types. We studied right some built-in functions like that. A built-in function list, string, tuples, set, dictionary, like that. Okay, inside that we can some built-in function that is a predefined task for the predefined what task that do what already declared task only. Okay, that is called as what predefined task. Okay, and this for the function what already provided by the Python and for your use to directly and without needing what defining them. Okay, there are like the standard tools in a toolbox that everyone can access to that one, and your problem use what some of them already without even realizing. Okay, and let me the take example. These are the what built-in function. What is print? Print what will do? It print the something values or statements. We can print, right? Okay, it can nothing but we get the output from the system. Okay, and length. Length is for what? Finding the length of that particular what string. For we want to string length of we want to get the length of characters and numbers and repetition. That one can check what length. The length is for use for checking for indexing value also. Okay, that is the beauty of length. And type. Type is used to what you can using that type we can what find the type of that what the type of that what are like a tuple, that is length, that is what string, that is what set, that is what tuple, like that type will be give the output value. Okay, next is what int. Int is what used for typecasting. Okay, if you want, you have the floating value, you have to convert that one to integer. That can be used for int keyword. Next what string. That is what str. That is what keyword. That is built-in function that is used for converting what integer numbers into what string, like that. Okay, and let's see the on print statement. Okay, well, we can see a print. Okay, hello from a built-in function. Okay, like that we can print using the print built-in function. Okay, and second one, I'm creating one in my list that is for us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here what list length. Okay, is equal to what length of my list. Okay, why I'm using length of my list? It gives the length, right? Okay, what is the length here? 5, right? Okay, I'm using what print function. Okay, and I'm using what here f string. Okay, the length of the list is what least length. Okay, when I use showing, you are showing a value, right? That is least length in variable. When I get the list length, I will get the value. Consider the length of the list is what 5. This is the length of built-in function. Okay, that do what already predefined task in the Python. Okay, next they discussed what f string in a depth manner. Okay, f string what f string stand for what formatted string literals. Okay, in Python, the allow you need to the embedded expression inside what that strong list literals using what your curly braces. Okay, and you first start with what starting with what f is nothing but what you can use what lowercase also uppercase also. That's what a computer now using what f string method. Okay, before using what opening the code. Okay, can see your example. I'm taking here what name. That is what I'm storing what variable. I'm storing value as what alias and age is what 30. Okay. So using the f string, I'm doing what print statement. Okay, I'm using where print. Okay, after that you do to know, right? You can use what f and my name is what I'm here using what one name, that is variable name. You should be what starting with flower bracket and ending with close with the way it should be enclosed with the flower brackets. And I am each is what you should be what pass that variable name with what enclosed with what flower brackets and here words and close with what double quotes and end with what parenthesis. Okay, like that you should be work. And you can also include what expression inside the curly braces also. Can like that. 5 years name will be the 5 years plus 5. You can do the operations also inside the what curly braces or your flower brackets. Okay. And if things are made to use the format, the output, the variables and expression. Already I defined, right? Okay, let's run this. You can see, right? My name is Alice and I am 30 years old. In 5 years, Alice will be what? 35 years old. It's nothing but your placeholders. Okay. And we already declared values. Again, using the if string method, we can take that value into the this sentence. Okay. Let's see first. Let's see about the build. Till now, we discussed what built-in function. Let's see what user-defined function. Okay, user-defined testing task is nothing but you define the task for your based on your requirement. You will define the task for that task. Do the particular what you declared the task. Okay, it's a function you create yourself and to perform your specific task, like a tailor your programming, like that needs and the requirements, and this for what the real power of your function to comes to into the play and allowing to what you to build the reusable blocks of your code. Okay, when you user defines the function, can be a further categorized based on what, but how to handle the parameters and handle the parameters and your outputs and when we the inputs, it can be a output is also called as what your return values. Okay, and parameter is nothing but your inputs already declared, right? And in the return values, you can pass and the calling the function, you can pass what your arguments. Arguments nothing but your values to your parameters. Okay. In the user defined function, there are what four types. Okay, let's see the first type, that is for function without parameter and without return value. Okay, first type is for function without parameters and without return value. That means what the function simply perform what action and do not require any external input and there are do not send data to the back also. That is for calling the function and just do what you do a specific. Okay, you do the what specific task only. Okay. Okay, let me take one example that for a function that greets someone without needing a name or a function, and just this prints for fixed message only, but was specific task. Okay, a 2%. I'm doing what here? Defining that is function. I'm taking a name, function name that is what? Show simple message, and what only the I'm giving pass one only the parenthesis. Inside that I'm not passing any parameters. That is what the function without parameters, function without return value. Okay, you can see right. I'm printing what this function does not take input and does not take not return anything. Okay, I'm here what calling the function. You can see right. Show simple message. And in simple message, I'm not passing any values. I'm calling that function. What will do this simple message? We just print what this sentence. Okay, you can see it. I'm running this one. This function does not take input and does not return anything. Okay, when you have to the print something only, you have to print something that specific task only. You can use what the function without what parameters and without return value. Okay, let's see the second type. That is what function with parameters and without return the value. Okay, it's nothing but these are what the function accept the input. That they think but your parameters. Okay, to customize their behavior, but they do not explicitly send the value back from the caller. Okay, but also that value is called as what arguments. Okay, they often perform what action like printing, formatted output, or modifying the external data. Okay, an example, a function that reads for specific person by the name. Okay, to the example, you can see right def display the personal message. I'm passing what function name. Inside that, I'm passing some parameter that is called as what name. Okay, I'm here printing. What is I'm printing? Print. Okay, using what f string hello. Here that I'm passing that same parameters called as what name. Okay, and have a great day. Okay, I'm here what calling the function with the argument. That is what display the personal message. I'm passing what highlights. Okay, and display the personal message with the Bob. What will do the specific task? It will take the allies to this sentence and Bob to this sentence and print what two statements. Okay, so I'm running this. You can see right. Hello, allies. Have a great day. Hello, Bob. Have a great day. Like that, how it will be work. Okay, this is what calling the function with an argument. Okay, this is the function with the parameters, but without the return value. So I'm not returning the any value here. Okay, just I'm calling the function. Okay, this is what call the function with an argument. Okay, let's see function without parameters and with return value. Okay, this function perform what task, but and produce what result, but do not they need to a specific input to so the result is often used based on your internal logic or fixed values. Okay, it can be what you are not passing any parameter, but you pass what only the return the values. Okay, let's see one example that function generates what random number and returns what only the constant value. Okay, let me take one importing model. Or in the first class, we declared the module, right? Okay, inside I'm importing through when we want to the any module. So I'm using what import. Okay, I'm importing one module that called as what random. What is random will do? It gives what it generates what. Okay, the random variable generates what uniform bytes like values between 0 to 55 integers, sequences like that. It will generate the random values. Okay, I'm taking what defining the function and the taker gives the function name that are called as what get random number. Okay, it is called as what get random number. This function returns what random integer between one and 100. So I'm passing that one. That is what it will declare from 0 to 255. I'm taking only for 1 and 100, 1 to 100. So I'm taking here what returning that one, returning the values. That is what random dot. Okay, I want the integer number only, right? So I'm taking what rand int. This is what already declared word method. So I'm here passing what dot operation. Okay, I'm passing from values is to start value and end value. That is what 1 to 100. Okay, so I'm calling the function and storing some return the values. Okay, I'm taking a one variable that is called as what lucky number. Okay, I'm stating get the random number. When we get the random number, right? When I call that get the values, that value should be what stored in this variable that called as what lucky number. So I'm printing that one. That is your lucky number is what this lucky number variable. When we store that one, we'll get the random value here. Okay, and check here. So your lucky number is what? 5. So again I will run. Can you see it? Again lucky number is 57. Again I will run. The lucky number is what? 97. Again I am run. Again 15. Like that how it will be work. And you can see this function is odd. You are defined by your user. So I'm taking here another one. So you can check here, right? So get random number. So I'm passing that one. I'm getting the random number. Like that. You already defined the task for a specific task only. So it will be work like that. So this is called as what? Function without parameters, but you return the values. You can see that I'm passing any parameters, but I'm passing what? Values here. Okay, I'm returning that values. So we can get the random numbers. That is called as what? Function without parameter, but with return value. Okay. And the last type is that is what function with parameters and with return value. In this what contains both parameters also values also. And these are what most common and versatile type of function we use all the when we do the programming we use this one mostly. Okay, and versatile type of your function, and this take the specific input from the user and perform some calculations or operation based on your inputs or based on your set of instruction, and then the send to the result back using what your return value. And this also for a flexible and reusable what computation. Okay, this is what function with parameters and with return value. Let's do the example, then you can easily understand. And I'm taking one example that is called as what? A function that adds two numbers and returns their sum, or the function what calculates the area of the shape of your given its dimensions. Okay, it's nothing but your add of two numbers also. I can return the same. And you can the function calculate the area of the shape of dimension also. I taken the two examples, then you can easily understand. Okay, first two one, I'm defining one multiplying two numbers. Okay, multiplying two numbers. Okay, I'm taking what? Two numbers that is called as what? Number one, comma, number two. Okay. Okay, after that you have to end with what? Colon. After end, you have to maintain what? Indentation. So inside that, I'm passing what? Coding part. That is nothing but your logic. Okay, I'm doing here what? Product of two numbers. So I want to do declare one product when variable. Inside that, I'm passing logic. That is what? Number one into number two. You will do what? Multiply the number one and number two and give the values, and that value store in what? Product. Okay. After that, I have to return that value, right? Then I print that value, right? So I'm returning that product. So I'm returning the value here. Okay. It is what? I'm using parameters also and what? Returning the value also. So this calling the function with the argument using the return value. Okay. When I'm using the what result is equal to what? I'm here what I'm doing here calling this function. I'm taking variable, and after that I'm call the function that is what multiplying two numbers, and inside that I'm passing what arguments, that is what 7 comma 8. Okay, I'm passing some arguments. Okay, that is multiply. This takes the product. That is what 7 into 8 will be product. Okay, that product will be this stored in a this product. Okay, after that it returns the product value, and we take what result here. Here we calling that function. This function do that specific task and store that value inside what result. Okay, I'm printing that one. The product of 7 and 8 is it prints the result. So you can run here. I'm running this one. You can see it. 7 and 8 is what? 56. And you can see it. This function declared, right? And taking here what? Good. And taking that multiplying what? I'm taking here another number. Let me take that is called as what? 8 into 8. That is for nothing but it was 64, right? You can see it. This is specifying that that's user defined task. Okay. This is what your function with parameters and with return value. Let's do the another example also. That is what your final value. I'm multiplying with numbers. That is what 10 comma 5. Okay, 10 into 5 is what I'm doing here. Final value with what? With some more operations also. Okay, it multiplied by two numbers. That is what 10 and 5. It will do what task multiplication. What is that? Gives the value returns 10 and 5. 10 into 5. That is what 50. Okay, after that I'm doing addition operation. That is what plus 20. Okay, that is what 50 plus 20. That is what nothing but your 70, right? So after that, I'm printing that final calculated value. Inside what I'm passing this variable name. That is what final name. Let's store the value. Okay, you can see right. The final calculated value is what 70. Like that, it will be work. Okay, this is what user defined function inside that the function with parameters also with return value also. Okay. And some clear, right? Okay. Let's do this one. Okay, let me explain this diagram. Then you can easily understand. Okay, I'm taking here what function definition. Okay, this what we will do. This is what? This is a name. Name is called as what? Parameter. That called as what? Placeholder. So and what? Printing that one using the string and passing this value to this name. And here I have to mention your code. So after that you have to do function call. That is what I'm read by name. This function name is I'm calling. So inside that I'm passing some arguments. That nothing but in value this to the this place it will store that value. Okay, man, here is it's an actual value. This can be a argument also. It called also called as what? Actual value. This is called as what? Parameter. Inside this parameter, this is called as what? Parameter. Also called as variable name. Also called as what? Placeholder. This can be asked in your interview also. Okay. And like me run this, you can get to know, right? Okay. Yeah, the read. Okay, when we passing this read values, you can see the this we printed. Okay, this is what function with what passing the with parameter. No, but no return value. I'm not mentioning any return value. I'm with what I'm passing what with arguments. Okay, and you can see it also that can be what number one. Can the function takes to two numbers and returns its sum. And call that function 5 comma 10. I'm passing here values as arguments. And after it, 5 comma 5 plus 10 is what? It add numbers. That is what? 15, right? It's some the inside the sum result. Store what? 15. Then print what? Multiply the numbers with plus 2. Well, multiply by 2. That is what? 15 to 2 is what? 30. So finally, I have to get what? I am inside the add numbers function now. And after this add numbers. So after that, I have to print what? I'm back outside the function. Then I have to print the result. That what? Function is what? That is what? 5 plus 10 is what? 15. Then you have to print. If you multiply the result by 2, we get what? Result, some result into 2 in what? 15 into 2. That's nothing but 30. So you have to trace that program. Then only you can write the program. Okay. Let's run this. You can select the 15 and 30. Like that, how it will be work. Okay. This is about the function. Okay, let's discuss in the next classes in depth manner. Okay, let's stop here and